This is episode number 33 of Mystery Meets Fine Dining Podcast. Welcome to Seattle.
This is Mystery Meets Fine Dining Podcast, helping foodies discover new restaurants and new friends. Here's your host, the founder of Mystery Meat, Seth Ressler.
Hello, and welcome to Mystery Meets Fine Dining Podcast. This is the podcast for foodies who love to travel and travelers who love food. I'm your host. My name is Seth Ressler. Here's how it works. Each week, we go to a different city and we find somebody who really knows the local culinary scene. And this week, we're going to fine dining in Seattle. We have with us on the line Elise Wagner of My Kitchen Shrink.
MyKitchenShrink.com.
Usually we talk to food bloggers, but even though you have a video blog, you do much more than that. I mean, you have a master's of nutrition and clinical health psychology. You are a certified nutritionist, and you have a really interesting business. Tell me what you do up there in Seattle.
I'm a certified nutritionist, and I'm a counselor, and I am a foodie, and in particular, I am a gluten-free foodie. And so I see clients that range from food intolerances to food allergies, weight loss, whatever it is. But we work together in a really fun, interactive environment. And I love to help my clients just learn and empower them and educate them. So a lot of the times we're out in the community, whether it's at their favorite grocery store or in their home doing pantry overhauls or in-home cooking classes. But I also do one-on-one counseling as well for nutrition.
So this is fascinating. So we're going to talk to you about your business and your personal story, and then we're going to take a look at the Seattle culinary scene. You've got a great restaurant recommendation that we're going to get from you, and then finally we're going to play a game called Out of the Frying Pan.
Woohoo! I'm excited.
And I should point out right here at the top that there's a lot of things that we're going to mention. We'll post links to all of them up on the Mystery Meat website so that you don't have to take notes as you listen to this podcast. You can actually go there afterwards and find out more about everything that we're talking about. Elise, so what's interesting to me about what you do is that there's sort of a blend of nutrition and psychology. It's a lot about not only what you eat, but also about how you think.
Right. So it kind of goes along with my personal story as well. But everyone knows what they should be eating. We should be eating more fruits and vegetables and lean protein and things like that. But the thing that I've been seeing and why I got this degree is at an earlier age, I really learned that, okay, there is a huge food component, but that's not the whole story. The story behind it is why behind some of the things that we do, the behaviors, the emotions, the thought processes that go through our heads, before we eat.
I have found with Mystery Meat, and as we've done these social dinners, it's so easy in this day and age for eating to actually almost be on automatic pilot or be an afterthought, to have a meal while you're in the car on your way to work or while you're watching TV, and to just pop it out of a box and throw it in the microwave. So, what's interesting about Mystery Meat is we gather a bunch of people for a very social meal where everybody's talking, and unfortunately, it's becoming a rarer and rarer experience for people, but I think that's also why people love it, is because, when you spend a lot of time and a lot of thought in the preparation of your food, and when the meal becomes sort of a big deal and something that you center everything around, it's very different than when you just do it on autopilot.
Yeah, and we're living in such a fast-paced world right now where things are really at our fingertips. We can order food online. We can literally pick up anything we want, around the corner. But really, it is about making that time to just come together and create that community and enjoy your meal.
Yeah. So let's talk about your personal story. Tell me how you got into this in the first place, because I know that it happened to you at a very young age.
Yeah, so when I was 13 years old, I never felt good. Literally every single morning I can remember telling my mom, I don't want to go to school, I don't want to go to school. I had horrible stomach aches, I could never concentrate, was always bloated and just felt really crappy. And so I knew intuitively there was something going on. There was something wrong inside, and I didn't know, what it was. So I asked my parents, I told them, I'm feeling this way and it's not right. And we searched all over. Originally, I'm from Chicago, so we searched all over the Chicagoland area, and I found a nutritionist who would see a teenager. And long story short was I was so adamant and determined to find a change and make a change in my life. I also want to put in there that I was 50 pounds overweight. I had a lot of weight, especially around my midsection. And what I found out was that I had a lot of food intolerances. And so I took a lot of those out, and then I literally wanted eating my lifestyle with whole foods diet. And what I found was a couple things. I lost weight. I lost 50 pounds. I had a ton of energy. I never got sick. And I just knew I had to help other people the way that this woman helped me.
Let's talk about the city of Seattle. And we'll start with, you've got a trivia question for me.
Yeah, so my trivia question for you, Seth, is do you know what is so special about the Seattle dog, the hot dog that is?
So there's something different about Seattle hot dogs.
Yeah.
And you're the healthy person asking me this question.
I totally am. I was blown away since I moved to Seattle about 4 years ago, and I could not believe that they put this on hot dogs.
Okay, so it has a unique condiment, I take it.
Yep.
And I lived in Seattle. I lived there for about a year and a half. All right, let me think about that. I don't know, but there's something unique about Seattle hot dogs. All right, while I'm thinking about that, talk to me about Seattle. Let's say I'm a foodie. I'm coming to Seattle for the first time. Mm-hmm. What is Seattle known for when it comes to food and cuisine?
I think a lot of people, when they think of Seattle, they think of Pike Place Fish Market. So, yeah, definitely fresh fish. And Seattle is also largely known for their Asian cuisine. And there's something, I never heard of this until I came out here, but it's called pho. And it's spelled P-H-O. Have you heard of it?
Yes, but only because, really, since I moved back to California. And the same reason, because there's a big Asian influence there. So is there a big Asian population up there in Seattle?
There is. Mm-hmm.
So tell me about pho.
It's something that is on my radar just because it's basically a soup with tons of different vegetables and different meats that you could get in it, and they also have rice noodles as well. So I just love it.
Talk to me about some of the different neighborhoods. If I'm a foodie coming in, are there particular areas of town that you would suggest that I explore?
Well, I mean, there's definitely the downtown area, and that goes on, for miles. There's the Belltown area. There's lots of newer, hip restaurants. Some of the Tom Douglas restaurants are absolutely wonderful. So
talk to me a little bit about Tom Douglas.
Tom Douglas, he's one of the famous chefs in this area, and he's actually got a bunch of restaurants, and one of them is Palace Kitchen, the other one is Dahlia Lounge. They all each have their own flair to them or their own identity. So Serious Pie downtown, that's going to be more of your pizza. It's all done in an applewood burning oven. It's just a different way of doing pizza. Then you've got one of my favorites. I love Palace Kitchen. I've been there a bunch of times. Again, really, he's got kind of an infusion of different types of foods. Anything from a burger to parsnip ravioli. He's all over the board, but he makes things really interesting and fun, and I love it.
So if I'm coming to Seattle, I guess I got to go to a Tom Douglas restaurant on my list of things to do.
Yeah, for sure.
Obviously, I've got to go to a Starbucks on my list of things to do, because that's so hard to find in other places.
No, actually, I've got something for that. You need to go check out either Stumptown or one of my favorite coffee houses is Urban Coffee Lounge, and that's located outside of Seattle, so you're going to have to go across the bridge for this one.
Yep.
Totally worth it, and they serve Stumptown coffee, which is, I'm personally biased to that. So
obviously, Seattle has a reputation for coffee, but there really are an insane number of coffee houses there.
Yeah, and people take it really seriously here. They go to different events with coffee and taste different types of coffee and brew it differently. And I'm telling you, the baristas that I know, they go to shows, and coffee art is huge. It's a different world, that's for sure.
I'd say I never drank coffee until I moved to Seattle.
Me neither. And now I've become quite a little snob about it. So.
Right. Well, when there's no sun, you need a reason to get up in the morning.
You kind of do. And you know what? I used to say, coffee, I don't want to rely on it. It's not the best thing for me. But then, again, I take into, my mental health component of it. And right. You know what? It helps me. So I'm going to enjoy it.
Cool. All right. And then you mentioned Pike's Place Market a couple of times. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Okay, so Pike Place Market is super fun. Number one, you've just got this rush of people who are there. You get to see a ton of different culture. You really get to see what the city is all about. So inside Pike Place Market, there's tons of little shops and things like that you can go in, lots of different art. It's totally diverse. You've got the fishery right there, so the guys there, the workers there are throwing fish, and you get to pick out, what you want. A lot of people go there and get their meal for the day or the night. It's not just fish. You can go and get your vegetables and your produce and your fruit and things like that. And everything is just fresh and out on display. It's just a very cool, it's almost like a very European way of doing things.
I love that place. And then there's this weird sort of slanted alley that goes back along or near Pike's Place Market. And there's a bunch of cool little hidden restaurants back in there.
That's Post Alley. And then there's also this very cool wall of bubble gum as well. I don't know if you've ever gotten to see that. But yeah, there are tons of little restaurants and little nooks and crannies. It's just a really fun place to go and explore, and you won't go wrong. You're going to find something that you'll like.
All right, and I know you've got a restaurant recommendation, so we're going to get to that in just a second here, and we're also going to play Out of the Frying Pan.
Okay.
So we'll be back in a sec with all that. Before we get back to Elise's restaurant recommendation, I want to tell you about Taste Trekkers. This is going to be the nation's first food tourism conference. Never been done before. An event designed just for people who plan their vacations around food. If when you set out to travel, the first question on your mind is, where are we going to eat? The first thing you do is go over to Yelp and say, we got to find some good restaurants in that neighborhood. Then you are a Taste Trekker, and this event is for you. It's happening in Providence, Rhode Island, September 20th, 21st, and 22nd, or at least we're trying to make it happen in Providence, Rhode Island, September 20th, 21st, 22nd, but we need your help. If we get your support, here's what it's going to look like. Friday night, fantastic cocktail reception. You come in, you mingle with a bunch of other passionate foodies, food bloggers, travel writers, culinary students, people like that, and you get to talk about food and all the places you've been. It's awesome. Saturday, at the Biltmore, up on the 17th floor, there's this beautiful grand ballroom, overlooks the entire city of Providence, amazing views. And in there, we're going to kick it all off with Chef Matt Jennings of Farmstead, an amazing chef known for his extensive knowledge of cheese, his fantastic work with Snout to Tail. He's done a lot supporting local farms and artisan food producers, and he is going to deliver the keynote speech. By the way, this guy, a lot of accolades. James Beard Award Foundation just shortlisted him for the second year in a row for Best Chef Northeast. All right, he has won the Koshan 555 competition up in Boston 3 years in a row. Not bad. Food and Wine magazine named him one of the 40 under 40 big thinkers in food, and the Mother Nature Network named him one of America's most sustainable chefs. So this guy, he knows what he's talking about. Going to deliver a fantastic keynote address. Then we go into the special breakout sessions where we're going to be talking about all sorts of things. I'm trying to line them up, but they'll focus on cuisines from different regions so you can really delve in and learn about some of the things that are out there. Then we've got the tasting pavilion back in the grand ballroom overlooking all of Providence, where you can walk around and mingle with other foodies and sample all of the different local artisanal foods from Rhode Island and New England. It's going to be fantastic. There may be a water fire that night. For those of you who are familiar with water fire in the city of Providence, we don't know yet, but we're hoping, which is an absolutely gorgeous event. And then Sunday morning, we got a lot going on. We're going to have a food truck circle so you can sample from all the different food trucks. There's going to be a bunch of culinary walking tours. All in all, it's going to be a fantastic weekend event. If you're a foodie and you like to travel, you've got to be at this, the Taste Trekkers Food Tourism Conference. But there's no guarantee it's going to happen. To make it happen, we have to raise just over $12,000 in capital. So we have launched a Kickstarter campaign. Kickstarter, for those of you who don't know, is all about crowdfunding. You pledge support, and in return, you get rewarded depending on, what level of support you've pledged. So, for example, you can pledge, if you're one of the first 10 people to pledge $40, you can actually get a ticket to all of Saturday's events for $40. After that, you pledge $50, you get a ticket to all of Saturday's events, which is great because it's a lot cheaper than it would be to buy the tickets when they actually go on sale. But what if I pledge my money and you don't collect enough and the event doesn't happen? Well, here's how it works. If we don't hit our goal of $12,650, your credit card never gets charged. We never collect your pledge. We only collect your pledge if we hit the goal. It's an all or nothing thing with Kickstarter. So we really need your help. You can do one of two things. First, head over to tastetrekkers.com, TASTETREKKERS.com, and click the link over to the Kickstarter page and pledge your support. That's the number one you can help. And we've got a lot of awesome rewards. Even if you're a foodie who can't make the conference, we've still got awesome rewards. You can get audio recordings of all the chefs who are speaking at the event. You can get a cool collectible poster that we're doing to commemorate the very first food tourism conference ever in the United States. There's a lot of cool stuff, even if you can't actually make the conference. So that's number one. Head to tastetrekkers.com, head over to the Kickstarter campaign, make a pledge. Number two, just share the Kickstarter campaign over social media. Let other people know about it, all right? Post it to your Facebook page, tweet about it, email a couple of foodies you know about it. Just spread the word and let people know. Both of those help. But please, please, please support the Taste Trekkers Food Tourism Conference. First food tourism conference ever in the nation. Okay, we're talking to Elise Wagner of My Kitchen Shrink, and you asked me a trivia question about Seattle earlier. What was it?
I did. My trivia question is, what is so special or different about the Seattle dog, the hot dog?
The Seattle hot dog, and you sort of let it slip there that it was a condiment, so it must be something that they put on there. And I can't imagine they put coffee on the hot dog.
Oh my gosh. Think about that.
That doesn't sound good. What could you... I mean, can't be sauerkraut.
No. It does begin with a C, though, so you are on the right track.
Catfish. Capers, not capers. Really? No. I don't know. What is it?
It's cream cheese.
Really? Come on.
It is, yes. Cream cheese.
They put cream cheese on a hot dog, and that's called a Seattle dog.
Yeah.
That sounds like a Pulp Fiction kind of thing.
It's actually pretty delicious.
Really?
I had to try it.
All right, just plain cream cheese, and I get like an Oscar Mayer wiener, and
yeah,
that's a Seattle dog. All right, I will try that. I had no idea. Good to know. All right, I asked you for a restaurant recommendation. Tell me about the restaurant you chose.
Okay, I'm super excited about this. I chose Hugo's restaurant, and this restaurant is located in Redmond, Washington. You're going to have to travel across one of the bridges to get over here, but it is a must-go-to. It's absolutely delicious, and it's American cuisine, and they offer gluten-free options, vegetarian options, and they really pride themselves on cow's milk-free, and they don't bring any soy or corn into their restaurant either. So it's great for people who have food intolerances or food allergies or celiac disease.
So talk to me about Hugo. Who's he?
So Hugo is the owner and the head chef, and he is just absolutely wonderful. He's been in the restaurant business for 12 years, and it's always been his dream to own a restaurant, and his dream finally came true. And so he is just loving it. They use as much organic produce and local ingredients as possible. They are super knowledgeable. They're super accommodating. I mean, anyone who comes in, if there's some other allergy or food intolerance, let's say to pineapple or strawberries or something like that, whatever it is, they are going to make you something that you can eat. It's absolutely delicious, and they use local, very fresh ingredients.
Now, when he decides that he's going to do this, that he's going to provide a place that's gluten-free and has these options, is that because he has some food intolerances himself, or is it just something that he wants to do?
It's something he wants to do. He doesn't have a personal connection to gluten-free. I think the main goal for him is to provide whole foods options and to provide almost like a sanctuary for people, a place for people to come and enjoy a meal, so they don't always have to be cooking a certain way for themselves.
So I walk in, talk to me about the vibe. What's the place look like, feel like, that sort of thing?
So you walk in, you walk up the stairs, and it's in an old house. So that's kind of the setting. So you walk in these French doors, and they've got nice linen cloths on the tables and things like that, but it's still very family-oriented. It's very small, so it's a very intimate feeling. They've got local photography on the walls.
So I sit down, I look at the menu, I'm perusing, I'm thinking about an appetizer. You got one in mind that you recommend?
I've got a couple. I hope that's okay. They make the most amazing Alaskan Dungeness crab cakes. They're out of this world. They've got like a little crispiness on the outside, and then they're super soft on the inside. It's 100% crab. There's no fillers. It's just a delicious appetizer to start with.
And that's one of those things, I mean, Alaskan crab cakes are something that when you're in Seattle, you really want to get.
Oh, yeah, and this place does it right. They're so good. You could have it as a meal.
But you've got another appetizer in mind, too.
Well, I've got two more I want to share with you, but the first one is this crispy kale salad that they make, and so if you haven't had kale or you're averse to kale for whatever reason, you won't be after you have the salad. It's to die for. They bake the kale in such a way that it's got this really crispy texture on the outside, but when you bite down into it, the flavors of garlic and lemon, they just pop in your mouth, and it's so delightful. And then they sprinkle a little bit of goat Parmesan cheese on there.
Ooh.
And so it's a really nice combination.
Oh, nice.
And then the last one I wanted to share with you guys is something that they do. There is a beet and potato and carrot latke. Kind of like a potato latke, but they add beets and carrots to kind of beef up the nutrition, and it's so good.
All right, so after 3 appetizers, am I going to have room for a main course?
Well, make sure you share.
Okay.
Make sure you share this stuff. Yeah, the main course, the number one thing that I would recommend there is the chicken marsala. And the chicken marsala comes with an amazing marsala sauce on it. And it comes with some baby potatoes and sauteed vegetables with a little bit of olive oil and garlic. And it's out of this world best chicken marsala I've ever had in my entire life.
That sounds fantastic. What about beverages? What are we pairing with this meal?
So the cool thing about this restaurant, and it goes along with the entire theme, they offer fresh raw juices that you can order right there. I had a juice that I think she made it special for me, but it was, I called it the dreamsicle juice, and it was beet, carrot, ginger. It was out of this world. It was just absolutely outstanding. You could have it for dessert. They also have local wines, and then they also offer pH-balanced water. So no tap water, no ice, just this amazing water that filters out all the nasty toxins like fluoride and chlorine, but it leaves the minerals.
Finally, for dessert, anything you recommend?
Dessert, I would recommend any of the juices if you crave that sweetness, or they offer a raw cheesecake. And the raw cheesecake is not made with cheese. It's made with cashews, some nuts, and beet. And it's absolutely amazing. It's super creamy, rich, and tastes like cheesecake, but without the cheese.
Wow, that sounds really good. So what are we going to drop here? I mean, how much is a meal going to cost?
The meal's going to range between $20 and $30.
Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. All right, Hugo's Restaurant. Thank you for the great recommendation. Are you ready to play a little game?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. This game is called Out of the Frying Pan. Here's how it works. I am going to ask you for a series of rapid-fire recommendations. Just tell me the first thing that pops into your head. You ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
What is the restaurant with the best view?
Ooh, the restaurant with the best view. I would have to say it's the restaurant in the Space Needle.
Oh, yeah, that was kind of a gimme there, wasn't it? I should have thought of that, but you're right.
Yeah, it's the Space Needle restaurant. It's called Sky City Restaurant, and so you go up. Gosh, I don't even know how many flights it is, but you take an elevator up, and you are on top of the restaurant, and you are literally getting a 360 view of the city as the restaurant spins around. It's so cool.
You obviously are a very healthy person, so of course I'm going to ask you about junk food. When you want a burger, is there a place that you go?
Oh, yeah. I actually have the perfect spot for that. This place is in Fremont, but it's called Uneeda Burger. Uneeda Burger.
All right.
They have delicious burgers. A lot of them are locally sourced beef. So you can do beef burgers or chicken. They also have vegetarian options. And they've got so many different pairings and different flavors, you know, whether it's mushrooms, different cheeses, different whatever you want. And they also have gluten-free buns. So awesome.
All right. Do you have a favorite place for seafood?
I do. I absolutely love this place called Ray's Boathouse. And so it is right in Seattle. It's got an absolutely magnificent view of the Cascade Mountains, and it's right on the water, and they have the most amazing fresh seafood.
How about a butcher shop? Where do you go to get meat?
I go to my local PCC. PCC is a co-op in and around Seattle and the outskirts of Seattle, but they bring in local meat.
What about a good brunch spot?
Oh, good brunch spot is going to be Portage Bay. And there's about 3 of them in the Seattle area. There's one downtown off of Lake Union, but it's got so many different options, and they've got gluten-free options. They've got a waffle and pancake toppings bar where you can just go up and whatever you're getting, you can throw on whipped cream, fresh berries, different nuts, things like that. Delicious. And
finally, last question. On the off chance that it happens to be raining there in Seattle.
Yeah, which doesn't happen ever.
No, never happens. And you want something warm. Is there a good place to go get soup?
There's tons of different places to get soup. My favorite is I love to get soup at a place called What the Pho.
This is a family show.
Yeah, well, PHO. It's got a really nice broth, and then you can put in tons of veggies, mix and match different things, and whatever protein you want to put in, whether it's shrimp, chicken, or beef. And they've got other interesting meats as well. But it's just a very warming soup to have.
Fantastic. You did very well.
Thank you.
Thank you for playing. Your restaurant recommendation is Hugo's Restaurant. It is located at 8110 164th Avenue Northeast in Redmond. And you can find them online. They have a Facebook page at facebook.com/Hugo's Healthy Choice. What about you, Elise? If people want to find out more about what you do or see some of the stuff that you've got up online or follow you on social media, how can they do that?
You can definitely come on over to mykitchenshrink.com. If you have any questions at all, you can go to the Contact Me tab and ask either a question to me or contact me directly. I've got a weekly video show called ETV, and that's where I answer any of the questions that you ask me for the blog. But more personalized questions, feel free to send me an email at elise@mykitchenshrink.com, and then you can find me on Facebook at mykitchenshrink.com. or YouTube at the same address, and then Twitter is Miss E MSNCHB. So that is where you can find me.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. And it's really fantastic because to show that even people with dietary restrictions or limitations, that you can still go out and eat and dine around town is really fantastic. And thank you for everything that you do. So I think it's really important.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I had a really nice time.
My name is Seth Ressler. This has been Mystery Meat's Fine Dining Podcast. Couple of notes about the show. First of all, if you want to join us for a Mystery Meat dinner or you want to help bring a Mystery Meat dinner to your town, please go over to Mystery Meat, MEET.org, and click the big orange button that says Get an Invitation. If you're looking for links to any of the things that we mentioned on today's show, you can find them over on the Mystery Meat website. While you're there, you can subscribe or leave a review for the podcast in iTunes. You can also follow us on Twitter or connect to us on Facebook. And finally, if you are a food blogger or other passionate foodie in a town and you want to share the culinary scene with other people who listen to the podcast, by all means, go to the Mystery Meat website, click the Contact Us link, and shoot us an email. We would love to have you on the show. Thank you so much for listening. We'll talk to you next time.
This has been Mystery Meat's Fine Dining Podcast. You can find links to the websites mentioned in this episode at mysterymeat.org/podcast. Thank you for listening.